You're listening to the MER-Mates podcast, the marine science research podcast.
Unfortunately, all journeys must come to an end, and that includes the MER experience. In today's episode, we sit down with fellow students to reflect on the past 2 years, from heartwarming confessions to brutally honest opinions, and everything in between.
We get into the thoughts on the programme, their experiences, and their visions for the future. While many of the questions we will ask are the same, the answers couldn't be more unique.
This special 2-part episode marks the end of our journey and the conclusion of Season 1 of MER-Mates. So, let's set sail one last time and remember, itsaso berriak ikusteko jaioak gara. Also said as, we are born to discover new seas.
Hello everyone, we're going to start today, our first guest. But first I'd like to give a bit of the context we're in right now. We're currently defending our master thesis presentations. And well, we have Eklavya Tiwari, who is from India, and he is based in Mumbai, and he's going to tell us all about his experience. Welcome Eklavya, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you, happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Eklavya. So tell us a bit about your background. Where are you coming from, your studies?
Well, we know where he comes from already.
We understood.
I'm from Mumbai. I studied before this environmental studies, and so I was doing mostly environmental policy and law kind of things. And then at some point, I decided that I want to focus my work on the marine environment, and so then I did marine environmental policy. I did an internship with marine environmental policy. And then that's how eventually I chose to move to the sciences, and I'm here.
So, and what exactly made you choose this specific master program?
I was looking for something because it was a shift for me from policy and law to then sciences. So I was looking for something for something more comprehensive. And most master programs are typically 1 year, anywhere in the UK or in Australia. But this one that I found was 2 years long, and it covered mostly the foundations of things as well. So that's pretty much the main reason.
The thing is, when you arrived, you had no, let's say, biological or physical background.
Yeah.
Or any at all.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It was more about politics and policies in general.
Yeah.
How was that change, let's say, like not having much background about those topics and start working on them?
Yeah. No, I knew it was going to be challenging when I took it, but I also knew that I could do it because I always loved sciences anyway. I just, for some reason, didn't. I think I was too lazy when I was taking things during college. So I chose, that's why I didn't choose to pursue science that time. But then, the first semester, thankfully, was quite foundational in terms of, you still needed some science background, as in you needed maybe 10th grade chemistry and physics, that much basic knowledge, and that much I had. So I just had to sort of revise some things maybe from school. But otherwise, it was quite easy. And I didn't go very heavy into the physics side of things. Even now, I'm not very heavy into physics. So I'm just mostly more general oceanography things. So it's not that much of a problem yet. But as I progress, even now, after 2 years, I know a lot more things. And even now, as I progress and I will further with my studies, I think more and more you learn more of the detailed physical basics and things like that. Biology and chemistry are more or less easy to understand, I would say.
Right, quite nice. Coming back to this week's presentations, we're defending our master theses. Where did you carry out your master thesis?
Yeah, so I was in Kiel, Germany, with this research institution called MER. It's quite a big research institute in terms of oceanography, one of the best worldwide, one of the best in Europe for sure. So it was really good to go there for a master thesis. Quite a lot of exposure regarding what are the research topics at the forefront of oceanography and science today. So, yeah, and what was my master thesis about? So I was there with the biogeochemical modeling group, and my master thesis was about this new approach within ocean alkalinity enhancement, which is a sort of carbon dioxide removal method. So you essentially take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and put it into the ocean as a means to store carbon. And so, yeah, so that was what my thesis was about. And it was with the modeling group, so it was mostly with models and Earth system, big, large models, circulation models coupled with a lot of different things. So it was quite nice, yeah.
So, as I understand, the carbon removal has, let's say, it's a hot topic nowadays, no, with possible future applications.
Mhm.
But you mentioned the modeling part and all that stuff. What challenges did you find during your master thesis?
My thesis is using models. I, as a master thesis student, and I think master's students don't get to actually work with the model directly, so you don't get to change the model or add any new thing to it. So you just mostly work with model output. And so when I arrived there, my PhD supervisor had already given me a file with all the model output, and so I just had to. My job was just to analyze the output and see what happens in the whole simulation, and how things change, and plot these figures, and do an analysis myself. The difficulties? Well, I wouldn't say there were any major difficulties as such. It took me. When I came there, I thought this was quite an easy thesis. I didn't think it would take me that long of a time. But then, as I started doing it, I realized conceptually the idea that we were working with was quite difficult to understand at first. So it took me, I think, a month or two to just understand what I'm actually doing and how the idea works. And then it was just making these plots, figures, and then writing the thesis. So no big difficulties there, really.
Well, it's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, we actually got to see your presentation the other day, and it was a complete success. So congratulations for that. Now, once you're done with your master, once we're done, because honestly, next week, don't have much going on. What does the future look like for you? Are you going back to policy?
No. I thought that when I switched to sciences, I told myself that, I'll probably go back to policy much later in life when I'm like, I don't know, 40, 50s then. But now I realize that if you get into science and then you want to pursue a scientific career as an academic, your 40s and 50s are you do a PhD, you do then postgraduate, and then you slowly become, then that's when you slowly become like a proper researcher. And then your 40s and 50s are the main period when you become group heads or like leaders of many projects, and then you have to get funding for wherever you are in group and stuff. So it wouldn't make sense to abandon a scientific career after so much of effort and then go into policy. So I also like the idea of a research career now. I didn't a year ago, a year into the master, I didn't. I still thought, maybe I should go somewhere, not go into research because maybe you get more money or something like that. But now my time in Guiomar, I was very convinced that, I was 98% convinced that, I want to do this. And it's a very cool thing to do. So the next step is to get PhD.
So best of your lucks with the PhD. He also was our roommate.
Yes, he was.
So somehow he's part of.
I could see the policy background when living with him. Yes.
I'm glad we managed to make it so far without laughing.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
Also, this sounds very professional.
It does.
On the thing. It sounds very professional. These guys have managed to make a very cool setup, and I haven't seen any of their work so far, but now I have high expectations after seeing all of this. So
we will see.
Yeah.
One last question: any advice for future master students or for students who will apply for masters of marine research?
I don't know.
That is
what-
an answer.
Yeah, that's a very general. I don't know if maybe something specific.
Something that maybe you would have liked to know before enrolling, or
Yes.
something, I don't know, something that you did that made everything easier.
Yeah. Okay. For this particular master, I would say this MER master, and similar, I think Erasmus Mundus masters in general. It's for international students, non-Europeans. It's a lot of moving, so you have to move every semester, and it's not just the moving that's the problem. That's okay, but like then you have to get all these visas and stuff, and administratively it's a little bit hectic. Which at first you think it'll be okay, but then as you get into it, it becomes annoying at some point, and you just don't, because you then have to deal with these visas getting expired and then get them, whatever. But yeah, I would say that is not the memories and the experience that you'll have. I think definitely is a bigger highlight. Like in with that context, in the context of all the experience that you'll get over these 2 years, I think that maybe not a big problem. Not a big thing to worry about. Like it's like a pros versus cons thing. So yeah, if many people go for masters and they really just want to settle down. Like now, after these 2 years of moving, most of us, we at least most of us international people, we just want to settle in one place. So a PhD or something, so where you're fixed somewhere for 3 years, and that's I think the main advice. Yeah.
Well, it was short but sweet, Eklavya. It was very nice to have you here, and we hope that you get fixed somewhere soon, and hope to be hearing from you. Well, that's all for
Thank you,
Eklavya.
Eklavya.
Thank you.
Cheers.
We are now going to do our next interview regarding the Vivas Week, in which we're presenting our thesis, dissertations, and we have with us right now a very special guest. We have Helene Ashley May Sung Olsen, who is based in Houston, Texas, and Norway. Welcome, Helene.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Helene. Tell us about your background, your studies.
Okay, so I went to the University of Texas in Austin, and my undergraduate degree is in biology, but marine and freshwater science. While I was there, I did my undergraduate thesis on mangroves and salt marshes, so exploring how mangroves were encroaching on salt marsh territory and if that would have effects on the fauna of the biodiversity and all of that. But I've always been really interested in ice and ocean dynamics. So after that, I contacted a professor at my university who works in a glaciology lab. And then I worked in her glaciology lab for 2 years. And we were making this data set of all of Greenland's glaciers, including the marine terminating ones. And that was really cool, and I really enjoyed it, and it made me realize I want to pursue research. So then I started looking for masters, and I found MER, and I decided, yeah, it looks cool, and I applied, and now we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So you went from freshwater to marine water.
Absolutely not, Sam.
Absolutely not.
Do you think mangroves are in fresh water? Salt
Well,
marshes.
you said-
I said mangroves and salt marshes.
Okay. Well, you went from salt water and you stayed in salt water.
To fresh water when you think about it, because I went to glaciers.
Okay, fair enough. The question is, you chose MER. What
Right.
made you choose MER?
That's a good question. So I applied to a few different master's programs in different countries, but I liked that MER had the opportunity to live and work and meet people in several different countries. And particularly, I liked that there was like this international cohort and like people to collaborate and work with, because for me, I think one of the most important things about research is networking and like who you meet and who you can work with and learn from and be inspired by. So that's sort of why I decided to do MER, because of the opportunity to study in France, Spain, the UK, and ultimately I did my thesis in Italy, so 4 different European countries.
So you consider the overall experience in the MER program is positive, or?
Yes, I do. I met you too.
Yeah, you got lucky.
My connection. Now I'm on a podcast.
And anything that could be improved in the program?
for the program, like management.
You can be critical with what you want.
I think housing was an issue a lot of the time. None of us are scholarship holders, so we all know like financially that burden can be a bit tough. I did receive the research grant from MER, so shout out to MER for that. Yeah, I think maybe you interview other people, they had different experiences, but overall my experience was very positive and I had no complications or issues.
Right, yeah. Thanks for taking that research grant from me. I was one after that. No, that's not true, actually. You briefly mentioned where you did your last semester and your thesis. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
You mean my last semester, like Southampton?
No. Your
No,
master
no,
thesis.
your master
Okay.
thesis.
So I did it in Trieste in Italy, and I chose it because I sent out a few emails and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do my master's thesis in. But I had a really positive experience with my supervisor over like the Zoom meeting we had, and he was just a really good vibe, and I felt like he would be a good supervisor, like really supportive and involved, which is what I wanted. And there was also this opportunity to go on a research cruise to the Arctic, which I really wanted to get some like hands-on experience, because sometimes, especially like physical oceanography, it's a lot of data and sitting in front of a computer all the time. And I think getting to do like field work, it's nice.
You were the first one presenting your master thesis during the video last week, so people was paying attention. But could you make a summary of your master thesis?
Okay, so basically I was interested in sea ice and ocean interactions in the Arctic and how they were co-evolving. I had like a 40-year data set, so I downloaded data, and this took months, just downloading data. I had to like email random people and ask for data and just hope that they would get back to me. And then I had to like convert it all into MATLAB, into like a file that I understood, and make sure that it was all like quality controlled and like there was no outliers, and make sure everything made sense. So that took a decent chunk of my time. And then finally it was time to play with the data, and then that's really fun. You just get to kind of explore trends and see what you see and read literature and what are you interested in. Like I was reading the literature and I found there were some like regime shifts in ice and ocean variability. So I decided to look into this regime shift for sea ice thickness and for amok variability and see if they had any influences on each other. And in the end, it was very complicated.
Yeah.
And any remarkable results?
My results. Yeah, I mean, you can see that there was trends before and after and throughout the entire time series. But I mean, ice and ocean interactions is what I was really interested in. And I think that's really complicated to kind of elucidate and see what's going on there. And also like the atmosphere is a really big component of the Arctic region. So I didn't have the time or space really to look into that. And I think you need all of these things to kind of know what's going on. And looking back, I wish I had also like had the opportunity to work with some like modeling data, because with my data sets, it was all CTD, Argo, float, like in-person physical collections. And so there was a lot of gaps in my data. So it would have been nice to maybe have like a entire time series to do different statistical analysis with and that sort of thing.
Yeah, things don't always turn out perfect. Did you put the emailing thing in your methodology? It was an important part of your thesis.
No, because a lot of them didn't get back to me. The only one who did was Luke in Canada.
Oh, shout out to
Shout
Luke.
out Luke.
Shout out to Luke.
He sent me my data set. He was like, what region do you want it in? Very kind.
Oh,
Canadians.
Fantastic. Now, I wanted to change a little bit of the topic. We, going back to your stay in Italy, in Trieste, we have already asked people what challenges did they face, but we'd like to ask you, since you're so positive about everything, what was the best thing that happened to you in that period of time, or a good memory or a good experience?
That's really hard.
Or you can just tell us a bad one. That's your choice.
Okay, I think Trieste, the location was perfect because you're close to the beach, like the water. In the summer, I could go swimming every day. Like after work, sometimes my friends and I would go for a swim. But then you're also close to the mountains. So in the winter, I could go skiing. You really have like this beautiful environment where you have winter, but also summer. The food was incredible. Of course, it was Italy. You're also really close to Slovenia and Croatia, like half an hour basically by car from both of those countries. So I got to tick a lot of countries off of my list of places I wanted to go, which was cool. But honestly, the best part was like the people I met. So I was at OGS, the National Institute of Oceanography and Geophysics, and I had a lot of other PhD students and co-workers, researchers, like the young people of OGS. We had sort of a group, and they were really nice. Helped me a lot with my thesis, with developing my code, with exploring research ideas. So shout out to my OGS group.
Shout out to OGS.
Yeah.
So since we are not talking about the future, any any suggestions for future MER students?
Make friends, have fun. I don't know.
Make friends and have fun. That's a good suggestion.
I know.
Nothing about learning.
Oh, learn a lot.
Learn a lot, yeah.
Do good.
Do good.
Be proud.
Well, yeah, follow these suggestions and you'll end up like Helene, who has recently
Has
did a
no
fantastic-
future.
He has no future, but has made a fantastic presentation. We saw it recently.
Aww.
And,
I thought yours was really good, Sam.
well, not everybody thought that. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for being here with us, Helene. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you the best for the future.
Thank you. I want to say Esquergasco.
Go for it. Say it.
Esquergasco.
There you go. Following up with the Vivas Week, now we have with us a super special guest. Her name is Kuan Ying Wu, and she's based in Taipei, Taiwan. Hello, Kuan. Thanks for being here with us.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kuan. And Sam mentioned you are from Taiwan, but you are currently staying in Hanover, Germany.
Yeah.
What is your background?
So I actually live in Germany for more than 6 years. So I came to Germany for studying. I studied civil engineering, and that's my bachelor. It's nothing to do with marine science, actually.
So how, if your bachelor was in engineering, civil engineering, how did you end up doing a marine environment resource master?
I must say that's really random. Like, never thought about that. So I did something at the end of my studies about coastal engineering. And yeah, I started want to do something more about ocean. And I just Googled something about ocean, and I actually just found this program, and I have been thinking to study also outside from Germany. Like, I want to travel around during study time and learn different language and cultures. And when I saw this international program, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. At that time, yeah, I didn't even know where's Basque Country. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. So I applied.
Yeah, you made a good choice.
And now you are in the Basque Country.
Yeah, now I'm here.
So how was the overall experience of the master?
It's great. I must say, apart from the organization and all the academic studies and the schools, I met amazing people here. I had incredible memories. We had so much fun. And actually, that's the best part of this program. You have networking and you meet different people from different background and culture. And it's amazing because you're from so different religions and culture and families and different study background, but you get so good. It's great.
Oh, we're glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, you're a very international person and you love international stuff. So, well, for our hearers who don't know about our last semester, we get the choice to choose where we want to do our last semester. From such an international person, where did you choose to do your last semester?
I chose Germany.
Would you look at that?
I go back. I went back there. It's hard, like after such a long time, you actually build up a life, a place. So like for like 5 months, I don't think that's possible to build life there. And when you just arrive a city, you know no one. You start to learn like friends, and then you met different people. And then in the beginning, you thought, okay, these people would be just someone pass by in your life. You would never see them again. But it's after like 6 years or 8 years, you actually have a family there, or you can call them family, and then you start to feel like this city is home or second home. So I chose to go back because of the people.
Yeah, so I should have said Kuan based in Hanover, Germany now, right?
You can say that.
You can say that.
But you didn't do it in Hanover.
Well, it's hard because Hanover is not close to the coast side, so there's no marine science there. I did my master's thesis in the university in Bremen. It's like 1.5 hours by train from Hanover, so I commute, but not every day, and it's probably once 2 weeks or something like that. And it's really comfortable to be in. You have a home there, so I just didn't want to go to Bremen every day, so I have to say.
No wonder. Now, as Xabi, you are presenting a thesis on the last days of the Vivas. So this means that at this moment, whilst we're recording it, it hasn't been presented yet. So could you give us a bit of a trailer of what is it going to be about?
But so everyone can understand, eh?
Yes, make it understandable. We're not civil engineers, please.
Well, so I actually went back to something similar to my previous background. So I did something it's related to physical oceanography, also related to engineer somehow. I'm gonna do something about mixing, so you will listen to it tomorrow. Introduce the process and then go into eddies, so you will see.
Okay, so she wants to keep it as a surprise.
We will have to be there, no?
You have to be there.
Yeah, okay,
Everyone
we have to be there, yeah.
Any challenges that you found out during the master thesis?
The only thing is because I mostly did remote, so I feel like I'm not really a part in the team. Even I saw them when I went there, we had lunch together, but this works. It's also our personal work, but I just feel like I didn't do stuff with other colleagues together, but the data were mainly collected, so actually the work can be done actually everywhere. It's just mainly data processing. So I think that's something that I would prefer if it's teamwork. So it's not like challenging, but it's just the negative side, I think.
Yeah, presential can be better than online sometimes. So we're going to look a little bit into the future. Near future, actually. What's going to happen after the master? What are your plans?
So you're talking about short term or long term?
You can tell us about both.
All right. Short term, my parents are coming, and it's just traveling. But after that, I'm going to Malta and learn free diving.
All right.
I already booked the flight. I know it's not sustainable, I have to say.
That's not a problem.
But I got kind of upset when I heard myself 2 weeks ago I couldn't do anything in summer, so I just booked my flights as my retreat after graduation or after master thesis. So I'm gonna travel myself around Malta. Yeah.
And professionally?
Yeah, professionally, that sounds like a great vacation.
I didn't want to do anything, that's why.
All right.
Okay, I really don't know. I did apply something during the master thesis. These 5 months, I actually have been thinking if I really want to do a PhD, because I've been affected, surrounded by people who really want to have a career and PhD. And I actually, when I was in Germany alone, I started thinking maybe this is not what I really want. I was even thinking maybe I should do something more like by hands, like practical stuff. To learn like the other practical stuff and something related to techniques and engineering. I still don't want to give up ocean science and especially climate change and sustainability, but I think this can be done by the other way, because I also been thinking to work in the NGO, but these are all the things I've been thinking since like when I was younger, but it's I think I'm still searching I figure out my life, to be honest.
Well, there's always time to think about things, and for the moment, free diving sounds like a perfect plan,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Do you have any advice for future MER students? Maybe, especially you that you are coming from the engineering side.
I also recommend people who did not do biology or chemistry or something more people think about ocean science to come, because the first semester you will get always compulsory courses, and you get all the knowledges you didn't get from your background, and from there you can know if you want to do biology, marine biology, marine chemistry, or if you still want to stick on physical oceanography. And even people like, we always change after first semester, like what is your direction? And this is actually a great opportunity, and it's an international program, and you meet amazing people, even you don't like the program, like you don't like the classes.
Well, Kuan, with that, we're going to finish. It was fantastic to have you here and hear all about your insights regarding the master and your future. And we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan.
Vivas Week, presentations, thesis, end of master. We have a very special guest with us, Angie Bridget Sánchez Rea, based in Lima, Peru. Welcome, Angie. How are you?
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I'm fine, thank you.
How is the Vivas Week going? Yeah.
Well, it's been nice until now because I'm presenting the last, so these 2 days I've been able to watch all over the presentations, a bit nervous for what is coming, but it's also nice to see what we've been working in all our internships. Like, it's so different from biology, physics that I don't get sometimes, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. And how are those nerves going?
It's fluctuating, but it's getting better. And so finally, like, it's just a few more hours until like everything is done after 2 years. So it seems like a big thing. So everything is going good.
So you are coming from Peru.
Exactly.
What's your background?
I'm marine biologist. There I did my bachelor in marine biology. So all the time I've been focusing, for example, especially in elasmobranchs, so in sharks and rays, even since I was there. And until now, I've continued with that.
Maybe could it be said that part of your passion for sharks brought you to this master? Or is it another reason? Why did you enroll in this master?
To be honest, I mean, at the time when I decided to apply for MER, I had not clear what I wanted to do still with my scientific career or so on, because it was like at least 3 years or 4 since I finished my bachelor. I was working a bit, then COVID began, and so I was trying to look for the options. When I remember that in my mind the word Erasmus program was there, but I had no much information about it, so I began to look for it. I saw that I have some of the paperwork required. I began to work on that, and at the beginning it was mostly a motivation to myself to do like something else, because, for example, documents that they were requiring, even if I wouldn't been accepted in MER, I would have been able to apply for something else. So it was mostly a motivation to myself. And at the end, of course, when I got accepted in the master, like, it was even better. So like everything has been like going really good since that moment.
We would like to know, where did you do your last semester of the master? I already know where it was, but we have to hear it from you.
Well, yes, as I was saying, my background since my bachelor was with sharks and rays. It wasn't my objective to keep with it. I was like open to trying new things, but it happened that I got the opportunity to study sharks and rays, but now in Greece.
Oh, what an accident.
What an accident, it's a nice accident.
Nice accident,
Yes, it came last moment because I was still looking for options, and I was planning to open a bit my perspective, maybe working on toxicology or something like that. But then one friend recommended me or suggested me that there was an organization in Greece working on sharks and rays, and maybe I could write them, and like immediately almost they reply me, yes, we have a spot available, you can come. So in that moment I was like, studying sharks and rays in Greece, okay, of course I have to go. So that's how it happened.
How did you manage to focus on studying sharks and rays being in Greece?
Difficult. Okay, first, Greece, of course, sounds like a big thing because we all have in our mind like Greece the best, like summer and this kind of stuff. But it's true that it's also like the place where I was based is part of rural area. So first to get there is not easier unless, for example, you have your own transport and so on. It was also really exhausting to like from the physical point of view, because in my case I was also collecting my samples, working with fishers, going there like at sunrise, moving a lot of stuff. And for example, I needed to collect, in the case of dead animals that I was working with, to collect some stuff. For example, next to me, I had like a tank with a shark that was still alive, and I had to keep an eye on that, and at the same time opening another one. So it was quite stressful. But at the end, like the results, I'm really satisfied with that.
Well, tell us. I mean, we know it's about sharks and rays,
Yeah.
but what exactly was it that you were working with?
In my case, I describe in the dietary habits, which it's basically what do the sharks and rays eat, and why is it important? Because in an area that is the place where the studies based is a gulf that is not so big. It's on the side of the Ionian Sea, and there are several fishing pressure, like habitat degradation, and it's important to see, to check about the biology and the basic information about the species. So I study this, also how they relate with each other, if they have competition for food and this kind of thing. So this is mainly the focus of the study.
Definitely, we will be looking for her results, no?
Exactly.
In the presentation. You mentioned your work in the past months. What's the future for Angie?
Ooh, well, still not clear, not even in the short or long term. For now, I hope I will go back to Greece at least in some weeks to present part of the results of the thesis in a conference that is being hosted in Thessaloniki, in Greece. After that, I would like to still keep exploring my options, like with the master, like even if I decide, before coming to the master, in my mind, I say, I don't really want a PhD, but maybe now my mind has changed. So I will begin to look for something like that. Also, you both know that I like to draw a lot, like drawing, illustration. So I would like to keep exploring that, maybe taking a course, scientific illustration. I still don't know. So I'm exploring my ideas still.
That'd be a great way of incorporating something new into your career, the scientific illustration, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I still have several ideas I would like to explore. I just need to find the time, the energy, the economic solvents to do it, but I'm still on the way.
Now, I have to go back for a second to your life in Greece, because you mentioned some of the difficulties there, but could you maybe tell us one really cool aspect about doing a thesis there?
Well, you get to learn a lot, for example, like to experience how it is. For example, in the case, if you would like to work with management, you get to work hand to hand with the fishers that are artisanal fishers, and you get to know their problematics. So it's really cool to understand from first hand how is the situation in a country that's is facing so many problems regarding management conservation.
Yes. Right. I have one last question. Do you have any advice for any future student that potential student that might be listening to this?
Well, first, like, try to have a review on like several topics because, for example, that's something similar that happened to me when I was doing my bachelor. That most people think that because we do marine science, we're gonna be every day at the beach, we're gonna be diving or swimming or so on. Happened to me in my bachelor, people were thinking we were gonna be swimming with dolphins, and that's not like that. So there's a lot of another things involved: physics, chemistry, math, statistics, which sometimes we're not all the experts in everything, but it's necessary. So don't be afraid of having a look on that. And at the end, everything is gonna make sense somehow. Also, if you are will to apply for MER, keep in count that it's gonna be a lot of changes, like not only changing from country to country, but in all aspects. So be open to new experiences.
That is great advice. Now, Angie, thank you very much for sharing all of this with us. We hope that you have good luck on your presentation,
Thank
and
you.
we hope to hear more from you in the future.
Thank you guys for the invitation.
Thank you, Angie.